Hey folks, Jonathan here. Okay, got a chance to pick up another Coupe body, and pretty rough. I think at one time, years ago, that this was cut out and used as a pickup truck. And someone started patching it back in here, and it's been over here, and that trunk lid is a lot rougher than what the body is. So I think all this has got to be redone. I think we can make some upper parts of the quarters. I don't see that as being an issue. Okay, so this door here is for the driver's side rear, I think, of a sedan, of course, and it's definitely not right. So I got lucky, and I bought two doors. Actually, I bought them right before I bought this body. I knew about the body, and I knew about a couple doors, and decided I'd go look at the doors. And I was thinking they wasn't four doors, but now I'm thinking that maybe they're the correct doors for the car. So I'm going to get the doors and put them here. Now this is, I think, was what is a 30, not a 31, because they don't have the indentation right here for the fuel sediment bowl. I think that was the 31, and then the 30, you know, was smooth like this. So actually, you know, it looks rough, but it's actually in pretty good shape in comparison, especially to the last one. As you all seen, I got there's a little more metal left on this one. So anyway, let's get these doors and I'll show you what they look like. All right, folks, there's one of the doors, and it's looking pretty good. It's fitting. The openings, I'm not saying it's perfect, because, you know, they've just got some bars welded in there, but it does have something that this body don't have, and that's that guide, like a striker guide. It makes me wonder if these doors might be 31. But we're going to take that off real quick and see if we can get at least the door pulled up in there and looking a little better than what it looks. We'll try to get both of them on. The other one, these doors are just perfect. Couldn't ask for any better ones. And no rust. They both got windows in them. And the window on the driver's side rolls up and down, and then this one I have the parts for it. So, like I said, just couldn't ask for any better doors, that's for sure. So, let's see if we can get this one in there where it belongs. Anyway, I've got a Camaro that I'm going to be working on. I wasn't going to do any videos on it, but I think I will. It's just an 86, 87 model style Camaro. I've got a 350, and I'm going to sit it in it. Everything old school, old double hump heads, just old empty valve covers. I got some roller rockers, just some odds and ends. I got a 5-speed Borg Warner and T5, and I got the clutch pedals and everything for the car, and the car's in pretty good shape. I'll go ahead and, I think I'll run back here and show you what the car looks like, and the condition of it, and what I'm going to do, because I had an 83 in high school, and I wanted another. Really, I wanted an 83. I couldn't find one like I wanted, because I wanted something without a T-top and without spoilers around the bottom, because I just don't really care for them. I never did, and I didn't want no sunroof. I really just wanted a plain Jane car. My car was actually, a lot of people don't believe they made them, but my car was a 4-cylinder car, and with a 4-speed. And of course, the first thing I did was put a V8 in it, and I put a big block in it, small block and then a big block. But the car came from California, and it's my understanding that between 1982 and I think 1986, they built 9,000 4-cylinder cars, and that was it. And it had a 2.5 Iron Duke 151 cubic inch, and I bought that car. That was it might have been the first car, or maybe the second car I bought when I came down here from West Virginia. But I bought it at a yard sale. I gave $1,100 for it, and that was a nice car. It turned out to be a nice car. I drove it a lot, and met my wife in the car, and well, we'll stop it right there. But anyway, let me take you around and I'll show you the other one I picked up. All right, folks, here's my Mullet car. I guess that's what we'll call it, because I don't think when I owned mine I had a Mullet. Anyway, $700 Ford. So I really need that transmission for my 57 International, and we may or may not put it in there. And someone's already knocked the air conditioning off this one, which is not a big deal because we're going to cover it. I don't want any AC on it. We're going to strip most of the stuff off, and nothing that, we don't need anything that shouldn't be there. And the hood is right here, but this car, the engine had caught on fire, I think at one time, but also evidently it had some bent push rods. And anyway, something was wrong with the engine, and they took it out. Now this had a 305, let me see, 80, I don't think this was throttle body, it's probably carbureted. I think it's 86 or 87, I can't remember. The title shows, but I couldn't remember what it was. And I don't even see it. Wait, date of manufacture, right here it is. 86 or 7, I can't read it, but anyway. So, interior is not terrible, it's terribly dirty, but it's not terrible inside. Gonna need some work, but I got a dash pad for it, and a new one in the box. And need some oil on the doors. I'm not looking anything to paint or nothing like that. We're looking to throw some tires on it. A lot of people don't like these cars, and they're not valuable. You know, you can pick these cars up for, I mean, a nice one for 1,500 bucks, running and driving. So you know, don't want to do a whole lot for one. But I just want it to drive a little bit and play on, and we'll do something. All right, folks. So we're starting on the Camaro engine, or I'm rolling along on it anyway. So 350 out of a school bus, 4-bolt main, like 170 horsepower, tiny valves, and 2-barrel intake. So to get the horsepower up and everything, it had dish pistons, of course. I thought it would have had flat tops, but it didn't. So it had dish pistons. And so what we did, I bought a set of cheap pistons, flat tops, standard. We're not going to bore it. This engine evidently had set and got stuck, and then somebody broke it free. And it actually had 7 of the 8, it was 7 of the 8, or maybe it was 6 of the 8 top rings broke. And the ones that wasn't broke was stuck. And one of them had actually tried to come out through the top of the piston from underneath. Never seen that before. But anyway, I'll show you that in a minute. So what I'm doing is I'm changing them. 4 of them's done and already in the engine. I had to wait and pick up some oxygen so I could heat these up. So what we're doing is I'm pressing these on myself, and I actually made a jig to be able to press them the right distance, which is nothing but this board right here with a screw in it, and the screw is adjustable. And when you put the piston in place and you push that in, and then the rod would be all the way over, then that's how far it needs to go, and that way it centers the rod on the pin, and the pin's centered in the piston like it's supposed to be. Really simple. There's not that much to it. The main thing is getting them on the right way. So this is the chamfer, and this is a non-chamfer. So the chamfer, depending on what number it is, which we'll check and see whether it's an even or an odd. The odd numbers, which is 1, 3, 5, and 7, the mark on the piston, which is this front mark, actually goes with the chamfer. When you're even pistons, it goes opposite of the chamfer. So these pistons here are not marked. You can tell, I guess, difference from where the valve reliefs are, but as for being marked front or back, you know, with a knock like these are, they're not done. So you just got to pay attention when you do it. Get them on the right way. I kind of like to just heat them up, press them off, and then press it back on the other piston without having to reheat, or, you know, heat it back up just a little bit. That way I don't have to heat it twice. And so I'm going to knock this out real quick and get these done, and then we'll start finishing putting the bottom end together anyway. Okay folks, the engine's done for the Mullet Camaro, the 354 bolt main, double ump head, we'll just say 3/4 race cam, with the power band out of the Yamaha YZ 250 125. So anyway, joking aside, this manifold was given to me. This is what we're running on it. We're going to run 3 Chrysler Carter BVDs, and because they're cheap, I didn't have enough carburetors of any one kind to put on this. So somebody had really screwed it up. Somebody gave me this manifold, and the reason they gave it to me is because it was so screwed up. Originally this was a 3-bolt for like a Stromberg 97 or a Ford 3-bolt. Holly made them, but anyway, so it had been re-drilled, and as you can see, there's a hole drilled there, and then this one and this one. So there's extra holes there that shouldn't be there, and then there's not even a hole here. But these holes they drilled out to 3/8 fine thread. So what I done was I put them down in, tightened them as tight as I could get them without worrying about breaking it, and then I machined them off. So now they're machined off. I know that looks like a scratch, but that's just discolored. So when I'm done with this will get surfaced off. I'll probably just file it completely off, but anyway. So what I'm doing now is I've already done these, putting studs in, and the way that I'm doing the studs is putting carriage bolts, because there's a little square down there you can get a hold of and tighten down. So they're all tight, and then I'll come back and cut them off. Now these are just like the others, except they were way off on the holes, so we've got them all straightened out. So now we're going to drill these, get these finished, and then I'll show you what I had to do to modify the Carter carburetors to get them on. There's quite a bit to it. So alright, let's get this drilled and I'll show you. Okay folks, just wanted to show you what I had to do to get these carburetors on there. What I'd done was I ordered these banjo fittings. They're for a Stromberg to run the fitting forward, so they fit directly on this. It's 1/2 inch fine thread pipe, or regular fitting, but it had a not a compression, but a flared fitting inside. So these actually work out to where the gaskets and the flare meet about the same time. You tighten it down good and tight, and they don't leak. They're quick turn, it's about as quick as you're going to get. And I had to machine the back of the carburetor. There was a vacuum port here, and you can still see the 2-bolt. How there's a longer bolt here, and then there's a port inside of there. Now I have plugged off the port itself, and I machined the bottom section off of the carburetor where the distributor could swing through there, and I left it on here so I could get the vacuum and for the PCV valve, and then I left it on here to get the vacuum for the power brakes, of course. So I needed 2 vacuums, and I'd rather have went manifold with it, but I don't know if I've even got a manifold vacuum. I'd have to look and see. Not a big one, but anyway. So what I'd done was put a short bolt in here with a nut, and then I went down in the bottom, I don't know if you can see it on this one, and put a short bolt screwing it down, and done all the machining, and then I actually JB welded all the vacuum holes. And so we no longer have vacuum for the choke pull off, because I'm not running choke pull offs. We're not running chokes at all. We can run the center one if we want as a mechanical, just with a cable, but we haven't yet anyway. So a lot of machining to get this on here, and of course you've seen on the manifold it was pretty much shot. We've got it together, so I got some more fine tuning to do. We're going to do some running on it and take it out and see how it does. We haven't done much with it yet because of course we just had a hurricane come through too, so I had all this covered up. The engine's all nice and clean and dry, but you can see the rest of it, all the pine straw and mess. And I've got to get a windshield put in it, and figure out a hood. I don't think it's going to close. It may or may not, but if it don't, we'll put a scoop on it or something. So anyway, just wanted to show you where we was at on it, and I got one more thing we'll show you. Alright folks, so right before the hurricane came through, and which it came right over us, it was pretty rough last night, and of course I was out towing all night, so a lot of wrecks. But anyway, before the hurricane come through, I actually decided I was going to check this out. Now this in my mind, from the time I bought it, was going to be yard art. I mean, I figured the way that this was sitting out, that it, you know, was shot. I figured because of the rod, you can see that was a 3/4 solid, and it's rusted in two. But that's where they had it covered up at. That's because there was a tarp over this section. There was no tarp up here, so it rusted through there. And I figured, well, you know, there's no way this engine's never going to turn. So what I've done is I took the forklift and I went through right here and on the spokes and picked up and just put some weight on it, or took some weight off of it. And while I've done that, I went ahead and loosened up the mains and loosened up the rod, and then I come in and loosened up the crosshead. As you can see, now that we've got rain, it's got water mixed with the oil, but loosened up the crosshead, and when I pried it right there, the engine turned over. There was no problems in the cylinder, which is real surprising. I'd already pulled the head off of here, and you can see some rust up toward the end, but there's no rust on the cylinder itself. So anyway, there's no doubt in my mind that this thing's going to run. So we just have to button all the stuff back up, get everything adjusted in right, make a valve rod for it, and try to make sure all the valves freed up, because I have not freed none of it up yet. But I have no doubt it's going to be a runner. The eccentric's still stuck on the flywheel, or stuck on the, well, the eccentric strap is still stuck on the eccentric, so we've got to do something about that. But as for turning over, it turns over with no problem. So cylinder wise, there's no issue at all. And I'm going to pull the caps and make sure there's no rust on the crankshaft. I only made, you know, one full rotation with it just to check it, so we really haven't spun it or anything like that. But we're going to pull the rod caps off and the rod cap and main caps off and check it out. And I've already had the steam chest cover off, and we'll take it back off again. But the like I said, going to make sure everything gets adjusted right and gets cleaned up right. I think we've got a couple pipes busted and stuff we're going to have to do something with. They had their drains, as you can see, hooked into their exhaust, and I think one of the drains is broken off right here. So we'll replace it and probably just go right back with the way they've got it set up. I kind of like that. Well, I say that, now we got a pipe busted, so we got to get that out of there. That might be a fun one. We're going to have to get up in there and get that out. That straightened out. Not a problem. I actually think it's going to be a good runner. I've been really, really lucky on this stuff. Not sure why, just all coming together really good. So we're going to keep rolling and go from there. Alright, so you'll see this one running soon. And the Camaro, we'll do some video on it. And I didn't want to show the rest of the build. There wasn't that much stuff that was, you know, important. Everybody's probably seen engines built and stuff, kind of boring. So just wanted to show you what we had to do on the manifold. Wanted to show you what we had to do for the pistons, because, you know, most people always pay to get them done. So you don't have to. You can, but it's not a necessity. All right, appreciate everybody watching. Till next time, bye.